Well, we'll see, but the real talk, I think, is what was in Mr. Comey's written statement yesterday, which largely confirms what the president's been saying, that he wasn't under investigation, as you've talked about. Nowhere does Mr. Comey mention that there was any collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians. Nowhere does he mention that there was any obstruction of justice in his written testimony yesterday. In fact, never forget, it was just a month ago, May 3rd, in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, where Mr. Comey said he was never felt pressured to stop an investigation. So I think yesterday's written statement that we all got to take a look at confirms what President Trump has been saying for a long, long time. I think it's also interesting that in that written statement, Mr. Comey says that the president told him to continue the Russian investigation because the president wanted to be vindicated about some of the things said about him. So
where do you get that?
I think it was good.
I don't know that it's so clear that Jim Comey felt that the president was urging him to continue the investigation. He says exactly the opposite.
It was to clear his own name. The thing said about President Trump, it talks about that in the
He
written
asked
statement.
him to get the fact out that he wasn't under investigation. I don't think that Jim Comey will hear today, in his own words, and this will be the first time he's asked directly about it. He was asked about the DOJ interference, the Attorney General interference. He was never asked about the president's interference in the election until today. But I don't see anywhere in this prepared statement where he says the president was urging him to continue the investigation. Where is that?
Mr. Comey talks about that when Michael Flynn came up in the conversation to continue the Russian investigation. The president was only talking about the Flynn situation and what took place there, not the broader Russian investigation, because there's all kinds of bad things said about the president in the dossier. The president, I think, wanted that cleared as well.
Right.
But again,
hold on a second. Hold on, Congressman. He never says the president urged me to continue the investigation. He doesn't say that. He just doesn't. Okay.
Well, okay, but the president wanted that investigation, that part to continue, to clear his name and to clear things up and to get the truth out.
He wanted the fact to come out that he's not under investigation. You think that's the same thing as asking for the investigation to go on?
The president wanted the truth to come out, and what Mr. Comey testified to in the written statement confirms what the president's been saying. 3 times he was told that he wasn't under investigation. No obstruction of justice. Mr. Comey even testified under oath that there's no obstruction of justice. So the other interesting things in here too, Chris.
Yes, sir.
It's kind of interesting that the only conversations that were memorialized were the ones between Mr. Comey and Mr. Trump. I'd like to know, and I hope someone asked this today, how come other important events in the Justice Department under Mr. Comey's tenure weren't memorialized?
Well, do we know?